behind me, you can see the College of Public Preceptors. We've asked them to look spiritual and happy and interested, and look, they do. So it's wonderful to be here. We're in the middle of our international college meeting. So we have public preceptors here from India, from Mexico, from North America, from mainland Europe, from the London Buddhist Center. We've got people from all over the world here. So this is the whole world talking to the whole world, is how it feels. So welcome to you all. Welcome to you all. So what we're going to be exploring tonight, as you all know, is a crisis for young people, a vision for the future. Yeah, that's what I called it. So what we're going to be doing is hearing mostly from young people. We're going to have 4 young people talking about their experience of being involved in the movement. And we're going to have 4 youngish chairs. They're only youngish. Some of them are fairly young, youngish chairs talking about their experience of taking up responsibility. So what we've got first, though, is we're going to have a glimpse of the kind of spiritual vitality of our order and movement in this moment. So what I've done is I've asked a public preceptor from all the regions, all the areas across the world, from India to mainland Europe to the UK. I've asked them to let us know how many men and how many women have asked for ordination, and how many of those are under 30. Yeah. So Bhante Sangharakshita says that a Buddhist life is a committed life. Yeah, a Buddhist life is a committed life. In Triratna, we mark that commitment. We witness that commitment with the public and private ordination. For us, that is our keystone. Bhante says that ordination is the keystone of the Triratna Buddhist order and movement. So we can see the health of our order and movement to see how many people are asking for ordination. Like, for instance, everything you do before ordination in our movement really is leading you to ordination. I mean, obviously, the majority of people who come to our centers never ask for ordination. But what we're really concerned with, we want to help all beings, but what we're really concerned with is wanting to help them commit to the 3 jewels, to go for refuge to the 3 jewels. And that is marked in our ordination. So everything before ordination, from your first going through the door of a Buddhist center, it is a movement towards ordination. So, for instance, I'm leading the journey in the guide at the London Buddhist Center at the moment. And in my mind, that is me inviting them to join the order. I'm not saying that. I'm not saying that that's what you should do, obviously. But for me, very strongly, if you really want to face the issues of life, the deep issues of life, you need a committed life, and you need a committed Buddhist life. And that's marked by ordination. So everything goes up to ordination. Then after ordination, everything expresses the ordination. So the ordination is our keystone. Bhante said it's the keystone of our whole movement. Yeah. So here I am at the college now expressing my ordination. And when I go back next week and teach the last week of the journey in the guide, I'll be expressing my ordination again. Everything either leads to ordination or expresses it. So when we find out how many people have asked for ordination, we get a real sense of how alive, spiritually alive, our community is. Now, it's just a glimpse. Yeah. So I just asked people to come up with the figures that they could. It's not going to be very, very exact figures, but they give you a kind of glimpse of the horizon of our movement. So the metaphor I've used, and I've been having to explain this metaphor here in Adhisthana, the metaphor I've used is that apparently you can tell how well an economy is doing. I can't believe I'm using an economic metaphor, but you can tell how well an economy is doing by seeing how many cranes are on the horizon, how many big building projects there are. If you've got lots of cranes on the horizon, that says that the economy is doing quite well. If there aren't many, the economy is crashing. So what we're going to do now is have a glimpse of the horizon of the Triratna Buddhist order and community, especially in terms of the commitment issue, which is people asking to commit themselves to the 3 jewels. And then what about our future? Here are the people who are committing themselves, but what about our future? How many of the people who are asking for ordination just now are under 30? So you're just going to see all these public preceptors appearing beautifully, excitedly, and they're going to tell you how many people in their area, they're going to introduce themselves, say how many people in their area have asked for ordination and how many of them are under 30. So first of all, Abhaya Dana, and come both.
Jai Bhim. I'm Abhaya Dana from India. In India, 783 women ask for ordination and 33 are under 30.
Jai Bhim. I am Yashu Sagar from India. Nearly 1,000 men ask for ordination, and out of which 17 only are below 30. 17 are below 30. Jai Bhim.
Hello, everyone. I'm Sue Drishti from Oceania, that is Australia and New Zealand. There are currently 63 women who've asked for ordination, of whom 3 are under 30.
And my name is Ratna Viewer from Australia, New Zealand also. We have 39 men training for ordination, and unfortunately, we have 0 of them who are currently under 30 years of age.
I'm Yana Dakini for Latin America. We have 50 women that have asked for ordination, and only 2 of them are under 30.
I'm Firacity from Latin America. We got 32 men in the ordination process, and only 3 are under 30.
Hello, my name is Amala from the USA and Canada. We have 47 women who've asked for ordination, of whom none are under 30.
And I'm Veera Dama from the United States and Canada. We have 24 men training for ordination, and 1 of them is under the age of 30.
Hello, I'm Kudanandi from mainland Europe. We have 163 women who've asked for ordination, 13 of which are under 30.
And I'm Amogaratna from mainland Europe. There are at least 97 men in the area who've asked for ordination, and at least 2 are under 30.
Hi, I'm Subhadra Mati from the UK and Ireland, where 1,181 women have asked for ordination, 47 are under 30. If you take away the London Buddhist Centre, that leaves 1,064 total who've asked for ordination and 33 who are under 30.
And I'm Vidyadhaka from Padmaloka, and we have 612 men who have asked for ordination, and 30 of those are under 30. Without the London Buddhist Centre, there were 512 men and 21 under 30.
Great, thank you very, very much. So this is Vajrapriya. He's our, what are you?
International Order Convener.
He's our International Order Convener. So he's going to say about the what are you going to say? You can say what you're going to say.
I'm going to tell you about the figures for the order members. So, question for you, what do you think is the average age of the order worldwide? The answer is 63. And the second question is, what do you think is the average age at which people are ordained? So this has been increasing steadily through the decades. For the last 10 years, from 2015 to the present moment, the average age is 52. There is sign that it's peaked actually, and in the last year it's dipped just below 50 for the first time in 9 years.
Good, thank you. So we can leave it to you to think if there's a crisis for young people or not. I was going to, at this moment, sort of add up all the figures and tell you what all this means. I was going to, but I am famously bad at anything to do with facts. And figures apparently are facts. So I've decided to ask a friend of mine, Surya Nagra, over there in London, who's a bit of a whiz with anything factual and computer-based, and in lots of other ways as well. And he's going to take you through what all of that, all what you've heard. You heard it very quickly. So he's going to take you through what that actually looks like. He's going to analyze those figures. So thanks very much, Surya Nagra.
Okay, so thanks, everyone. So hopefully you should be able to see my screen just now. I'm going to take you through what I'm calling a bit of a mini analysis. There's lots more that could be done on this, and I'm going to speak very quickly, but you're going to get a link in the chat afterwards. So any of you who are datally inclined can do your own analysis as well. But I'm just going to share some graphs and some observations that I've seen from the data that we've collected. So yeah, what data have we collected? We've collected the number of men and women currently training in each area, and in terms of the order, the current order, and the all order members ever. We've collected the date of birth, the ordination date, that's the public ordination date, the area, and men and women. And just to say on area, this might upset some people, but I've separated out the LBC as its own area. The reason I've done that is probably going to be quite clear when you see the numbers. Yeah. So this is the current order as it stands. Basically those are sort of, well, some of these are the numbers that you've just heard. Actually, no, sorry, you haven't heard these numbers yet. That's one of the other graphs. But you can see how it breaks down across ages. You can see the vast majority are sort of in this middle bracket, not to say middle age. Just to simplify that a little bit for you, yeah, 60% of the order is currently aged 40 to 69. A further 28% is over 70. 3.4% of the order is under 40. But that is a whole 97 order members who are under 40 currently. You could also put this as 1 in 27 order members. So if you got a random 27 order members together right now, one of them would statistically be under 40. I was thinking an average chapter is probably about 9 people. That's not from any data. That's me guessing what an average chapter size might look like. So that means if you got 3 average chapters in the world, you'd have 1 sub 40 order member across those 3 chapters. This is the same data presented differently, just to sort of see the kind of gradation of the age of the order across all of the regions. And this is it presented sort of more proportionately. Yeah, so I'm drawing out a few kind of things I've noticed. So one thing is that the LBC has proportionately more, by quite a margin, sub 40 order members than any other area. And actually in absolute terms, the LBC has more sub 40 order members than any other area except for the rest of the UK and Ireland. So that's why we've been putting the LBC as its own area. And this is, Vajrapriya was mentioning how the age of new order members have changed over time. So this is people's age at their ordination, worked out with their date of birth and the public ordination date. And you can see here that, I don't know if you can see my mouse kind of hovering above, but you can see that, yeah, before the mid-90s, basically, there were a lot of dark green and light green. So that's sub 30s and sub 40s being ordained. And then there was a steep drop in about 93, 94, which has never really gone back up. Yeah. So yeah, in the last 25 years, you can say that sub 30 ordinations have remained consistently low. So that's the dark green. And yeah, in the last 10 years, there's been a relatively small increase in sub 40 ordinations over the last decade. So you can see that kind of picking up a little bit since 2015, but generally has stayed sort of around the sort of previous 10-15 years. So just a note on that, there's a lot of missing ages for 2024, so I've got no idea. We've got less idea how old people were who were ordained in 2024. I don't know why that is, but for some reason date of births weren't collected as reliably in that year. So overall, 3.82 3.2%. Oh, sorry, this is going on to GFR Mitras. So overall GFR, in terms of GFR Mitras, 3.82%. That was all order members so far. So this is GFR Mitras. 3.82% of GFR Mitras are under 30 internationally. That's slightly higher when you exclude India. And it's about the same for men and women. So there's 1% more sub 30 women than there are men. And this is it broken down across regions. So I'm going to whiz through some observations about this data. These are the numbers that you've just heard from all the public preceptors. So in India, you're almost 4 times as likely to be a woman as a man if you've asked for ordination and you're under 30. And outside of India and the LBC, there are about twice as many women as men GFR Mitras. In the LBC, it's closer to 50-50. But everywhere, pretty much everywhere else, it's twice as many women as men. But the sub 30 gender parity, or men and women parity, is much, much closer, except for Europe, where there are only 2 men who've asked for ordination who are under 30 and 13 women. So in most of the world, there are around 1 in 25 GFR Mitras are under 30, but at the LBC, it's about 3 in 25. And then just to finish, I've heard, I haven't actually seen the data on this one either, but I've heard that the average length of ordination training is about 7 years. I've shown you both of these figures, but just to show you them both at the same time, the GFR Mitras are about 3.82% under 30. The current order is about 3.43% under 40. So there are about the same number of GFR Mitras who are under 30 as there are order members currently under 40, which means that at the current rate, we shouldn't expect, without some changes, we shouldn't expect to see the sub 40 order, the proportion of the sub 40 order, increase over the next decade. I'll pass back to Mochapandi.
Thank you very much, Suryanagha. Am I on screen again? Thank you. Really good to see all those figures. Much more than I thought you were going to do. So that's really great. Thank you. So if I'm correct, and I might not be, you're basically saying that 4% of the people who've asked for ordination are under 30, evening it up a bit. 4%. That's tiny. Yeah, that's really tiny. So I'm now going to hand over. I'm not going to say anything about that. I'll leave that with you to think about that. We're not trying to, the college isn't trying to suggest solutions or even give you theories about why so few young people are involved in our movement and order. We're just sort of putting it out there for you to think about, yeah? So I'm going to hand you over to Subhadramati now, who's going to introduce you to 4 young people currently involved in our movement.
Thank you very much. So yes, I'm delighted to introduce these people to you. And we've simply asked them to speak there's 4 of them, and they're going to speak for about 8 minutes each, telling us what it's like to be a young person in Triratna today, what sort of issues they face. I don't know what else they're going to say, what they enjoy. Let's hear from them. And the very first person is Ruchira Siddhi. So let's see, Ruchira Siddhi. Hi, Ruchira Siddhi. So where are you zooming in from, Ruchira Siddhi?
I'm zooming in from Cuernavaca, which is a city an hour south from Mexico City.
That's great. And what have you been doing today so far?
Well, we're having Sangha Day, the celebration of Sangha Day. I actually had to pop out from Sangha Day to be here, but has been my day.
Oh, well, very happy Sangha Day. And what age were you when you first came along to Triratna?
I was 21 years old.
Okay. And what age were you when you got ordained?
28.
Great. Well, over to you. Let's hear from you.
Oh, thank you, Subhadramati. Well, that was shocking. Yeah. Well, yeah, I'm trying to process. Like, I was not aware that those were the numbers, but anyway, it's very nice to be here. Should look at my watch. So I was asked to share my experience about being involved in Triratna as a young person. Like I just said, I'm currently 20 years old and I arrived 7 years ago. It was interesting to reflect on how it was for me. I feel like my experience was quite straightforward. I personally, as many others, came to the Buddhist center in the midst of a very strong depression, like feeling very low, even having thoughts of, oh, I think I don't want to be alive. Like I'm not enjoying this experience called being alive. So I wanted something to help me. And I really felt like only something sacred could help. I was actually looking for a religion during this time. And well, I arrived to a Buddhist center, and after a couple of weeks, I just thought, this is it. Like I found it. This is what I was looking for. This is what I want my life to look like. I don't feel like there are a lot of options. So I kind of plunged right in. Within 1 year, I became a mitra and asked for ordination. I was not aware if that was allowed. Like I was trying to pace myself, but people didn't put a lot of objections, so I just went for it. And I just felt like it was the thing that I was looking for my whole life. Like I said, I was not looking for meditation to relieve stress. I was like really thinking, okay, I need a religion because I was afraid of having just like a regular life with a job and a family and something, because I feel like a regular life had a lot of troubles and a lot of suffering and not a lot of rewards. So I always wanted to be religious, but I didn't believe in God, which was quite a conundrum. Like I was not like, how can I be religious and not believe in God? Like how does that work? So when I came into Buddhism, I thought like, oh, great. Like this makes a lot of sense. There's ritual and devotion, but it's non-theistic. So there's not like this mysteries to solve of how does the whole God thing works. It had a clear map of practice. It gave me a meaningful life. So I felt it very close to my heart. Now, when I came to the Buddhist center, I didn't feel like age was a topic for me. I always felt comfortable with having older relationships with people that were older. And it is true that when I arrived to the Buddhist center, except for 2 or 3 people, everyone was in their 40s or 50s or 60s. And at that moment, it didn't really feel like a lack. It actually felt like a positive thing because I was very moved by the fact that I was taken seriously by people older than me that I respected. Nagapriya, who is a public preceptor seated somewhere over there, had a very big impact on me because he offered his friendship in a very serious way. He took me seriously. And even though I was like young, well, I was young, I was 21, he just treated me as another adult. He just really took me seriously. And I think that's something that's relevant when you treat a young person in like, oh, you're so young, it's amazing and wise, and oh, it's incredible. It's a bit off-putting because like, no, can you just treat me like a regular human being and not like make a thing out of being young? And that's what I experienced with people over there, that they just offered me friendship in a normal way. So yeah, funnily enough, I think that sometimes not making a topic out of youth can be better. And I don't know, like at that moment, committing to a Buddhist lifestyle with the responsibilities, meditation, and trying to have a simple life didn't feel like renunciation or something very difficult. because before coming to the Buddhist Center, I already had a life that involved a fair amount of drugs, depression, partying, loneliness, and I was aware that that was not very good. Oh, I have 1 minute left. Yeah, I didn't want that. I just wanted to have a life with meaning. But afterwards, age did become a topic because I realized that I wanted to have people that I share experiences with, people that I could relate to. So I guess that the main thing for me to wrap up, I feel like in the Oscars when they put the music, is that having the balance between having older people that offer you friendship and take you seriously, and simultaneously having people your own age that you can relate to, that really did work for me. Well, thank you for for your time and for inviting me here.
Thank you so very, very much. And thank you for sharing so openly about, in a sense, your crisis as a person at that age and coming along, what the Buddhist Center meant to you. And I feel like we could study that talk and learn so much from it. So thank you very, very much. Very, very much. And then next, we're going to meet Emily. So let's meet Emily.
Hello.
Hi, Emily. Hi. Where are you zooming in from, Emily?
I'm zooming in from London.
And where exactly in London?
I'm actually in the women's office in the LBC.
Yeah, because you work there, don't you?
I do, yeah.
Yeah, great. Okay. Well, very, very nice to see you. And what age were you when you came along, Emily?
I think I was 24 when I came along, and I'm 27 now.
Okay, great. Well, yeah, let's hear from you.
Okay. Yeah, so I guess for a bit of context, I'm based in London. I live in Navakula, the young women's community here as well. And I've been working at the center for the past year. I used to work in the Mandala Cafe, and now I'm doing the bookkeeping. So yeah, I think I've actually been involved in like 2 of the youngest contexts that the LBC actually have. So being the young women's community, and also the Mandala, I think, has the youngest team here at the center as well. So my experience being a young person here, I think on the whole has been quite positive, and has definitely been working for me and allowed me to engage, I think, because of those 2 contexts. And because I've had all those peers and friendships alongside me, I've been able to give myself a bit more fully to it all. But going back to when I first came along, I went on retreat with the LBC, and I quite quickly made friends with a lot of people that were my age. I did a sub-30 festival retreat at Adhisthana, and then I did a women's intensive. And it was on those 2 retreats that I made most of the friends that I was engaging with at that time. And some of my friends that I met there actually lived at the center, and 2 of them were working at the center as well. And I think I was both responding to the Dharma and enjoying my practice, but I made some of the bigger, more practical changes in my life, like moving here and choosing to work here because of those people that were doing it. And I think it was like seeing other people my age that gave me the confidence to make those changes and choices in my life. So yeah, I guess I'm including that just to kind of emphasize the people and the conditions that were around me, that kind of impacted my engagement. And yeah, I think another thing I wanted to add was now have been here for a couple of years, I've noticed that some of the people that I even came along with at that time aren't around as much anymore. And some of them aren't actually training for ordination. I think only one of the friends that I first made then is still working at the center and training for ordination. So yeah, although there is loads of young people here at the LBC and they are coming to classes and things, I don't think a lot of them are actually training for ordination or wanting to live here and work here and support the center. So I do have this kind of like feeling or the sense that I've taken it like one step further, that I'm training for ordination, or that I'm kind of building my life around the movement, and choosing to work here and live here as well. And not many of my peers are choosing to do the same thing, which I think kind of brings up a bit of doubt about my own commitment, or whether or not it's the right choice to be making at this age, perhaps. And I guess the other thing I'll say is, when I first went to Tiratnaloka, I was the only woman that was below 30 on the very first retreat that I went on. I think there was 2 other women that were in their 30s, and then the rest were like 40 plus. And yeah, I did feel like a real age gap when I went there, as well as the ordination team, I think at the time, was a lot older. So I found it a bit hard to like connect to them. And again, it brought a bit of doubt just for the ordination process itself. Like, I knew I loved my life in London and had a lot of friends here, and it was a lot of fun. But when I went there, I was questioning a bit more, I guess, and whether or not it was something that I should do now, or if it's something I could do perhaps like later in my life. So yeah, I think I like went to Tiratnaloka with a lot of energy and maybe like idealism, and then not quite finding that in the connections that I was having there. And also the things that I was reflecting on in my life felt quite different to what other women were exploring. So it felt a bit like disconnecting. And then I just had like a bit of resistance going back, because I struggled to connect with people there and felt a bit isolated maybe. And yeah, it just felt a bit different to some of the retreats that the LBC do. I think that there's a lot of young people that go on them, and a lot of friends. So then it just feels a lot more like you're with your peers and you're doing something alongside people your own age, rather than I don't know, being like the young person that's just like tagging along. So yeah, I think maybe that's all I'll say, or that's all I have to say.
Oh. Oh, thank you very, very much, Emily. Well, I want to say personally, I'm very, very glad that you've taken that next step. But I think, well, you made some very important, very, very serious points. And, you know, I'm just very, very glad we're having this evening, and that we can apply ourselves even more seriously to the points you've been making. Yeah, so yeah, very, very good, Emily. Thank you. Thank you. Long live Navakula, where I used to live too. Yeah, yeah. Great. Okay, so our next guest is Phoebe. So let's welcome Phoebe. Hooray, Phoebe. Hi there.
Hello.
Phoebe, where are you zooming in from?
I'm at the new Tiratnaloka.
Yay! That's very, very exciting. And later, Phoebe's going to be showing us a bit more of the new Tiratnaloka. Yeah. So very, very nice to see you, Phoebe. So remind us what age you were when you first came along.
24.
24. Good. So really looking forward to hearing you say, yeah, what that's been like. So welcome.
Thanks. So I was 24 when I got involved, and I'm 29 now. And I first got involved with the LBC's meditation challenge during lockdown, and immediately felt kind of seen as a younger person, because I was contacted and asked if I wanted to have meditation reviews, and that was only for under 25s. And I was paired up with Bodhi Naga from Sheffield, and I was living in Sheffield at the time. So that was really helpful. And then after the challenge ended, I did an online intro course at the Sheffield Centre. And again, I felt so kind of excited, because I'd been involved in Buddhism from being quite young, and I'd been along to another tradition into being, and I was only 14 and everyone was in their 60s. And I kind of thought, oh gosh, there's going to be no young people involved in Buddhism like in the UK. So to go back then when I was 24, like joining Triratna, somebody on the intro course was young, Nagavadri. And also, I think being as a woman of colour, it was really great to see another young woman of colour up front. So immediately felt like a bit more at ease or something. And there's quite a few young people in Sheffield as well. So I kind of felt, yeah, just really welcomed in. I've never really struggled to get along with people of any age though. So I've always got on well with older people as well. So I don't think necessarily for me being young has been a barrier. I think I'm always quite open to just getting to know anybody really. But it was helpful, I think, just having peers. I think sometimes I can take Dharma life too seriously, and it's really nice to have young people to, you know, bring lightness and fun. Not that older people aren't fun, but you know, it's just having people your own age. Yeah, and then I moved to Cambridge about 18 months ago, and that was a bit of a shock because there are young people. I think it's grown a lot since I've moved there, our young people's group. But even now, there's only a few of us that are training for ordination under 30. And in terms of women, there's me and one other person. She's actually just over 30. So I felt a big kind of a bit of a loss because I had a lot more friends in Sheffield that were similar age that were also training for ordination. And now it feels like I have less horizontal friendships of a similar age that are also training for ordination. And actually now people are starting to look up to me as a vertical friend. So I've had to completely change my dynamic. So in a way, yeah, it's been good. There's been a lot of opportunities. I think as well, like other people have mentioned, the young people's retreats at Adhisthana have been really great. And there was a young people's pilgrimage that Shantikara and Suryanaga led a few years ago, which was also really great. So I've really benefited from all of those opportunities. And it's given me the chance to be up front more and really practice, you know, leading meditation and giving short talks and things. So my confidence has grown a lot. But I guess a bit of a challenge with that is sometimes it feels like I've maybe got too much responsibility. And sometimes I just really want to, you know, have a bit more stillness and simplicity in my life, but I'm so involved in the centre and leading so many things. Yeah, and I love doing that. I love really being of service, but I think it's a practice in itself. And when there's less young people to kind of rely on, there's more asked of you. And again, just bringing up the intersectionality, I was also asked to lead a people of colour group. So I've been kind of doing two things and I've had to step back from one of them. Yeah, so I've had a lot of opportunity, but sometimes it can be a bit much. So yeah, and I also work at the centre, which is great. But again, I mean, we've got a new young person joining tomorrow, actually joining the team, so that's really great. But I have been the youngest one, the only Mitra, and that was also a bit of a change because in Sheffield, I worked there as well and the team was quite young. So it's just interesting to see how things are done at different centres. And, you know, there's pros and cons, I'm sure, for both. Overall, it's been a really great experience. And like I said, I really love all the opportunities and things. But I think, yeah, responsibility is a big thing, just trying to find the balance with that. And also, I guess in terms of work, I've taken some sacrifices with, you know, money and like career paths and things, which I've been very happy to do because I really feel like this is what I want to give my energy to. But I'm very aware of that, like wanting to try and like save to try and buy a house at some point because I really want to have some sort of asset because the climate that we're in now, I don't know, it's just not as easy as it probably was back when the movement first started. So I think maybe that might put some young people off working for centres and things, like having to really, sacrifice financial stability or something like that. Yeah, I don't know if there's much more that I really want to say. I think, I've gained a lot of value from it, and it's really nice going through the process with friends, actually. Yeah. Thanks.
Right. Good. Thank you. Oh, thank you very, very much, Phoebe. And I really personally just will salute you for what you're doing in Cambridge to create more context for young people. And I hear that that's something to navigate as well. There's an art to that. Yeah. But really, really good. Again, very, very intelligent reflections. Yeah. And really look forward to our tour of the new T Ratanaloka later. Yeah, thank you.
Thanks.
Good. So the next person we're going to meet is Patrick.
Hello.
Hello, Patrick. And apparently you've got a new haircut for the occasion.
I do, just for today, yeah.
Yeah. So So where are you, Patrick?
I'm at the top of the LBC in Samogavasa community, right in the eaves. You can see the sort of the ceiling of the centre.
Oh yes, yeah. And when did you first come along? I actually know the answer to this because I was there, but tell us anyway.
So I just turned 19 when I came to the LBC for the first time.
And it was during lockdown, wasn't it?
Yeah, just around when things started reopening, there was still tape on the floors at the LBC.
Oh
where you had
yeah,
to sit.
all that distancing, yeah. And I heard you had some good news this year, Patrick.
Yeah, so about 2 months ago now, I was invited to get ordained. So next year I'll be going to Guyaloka to get ordained.
Fabulous. And I think when that happens, it might mean that you're the very youngest order member in the whole of Triratna. So, we're very much looking forward to what you've got to say to us. Welcome.
Yeah, thanks very much, Subhadramati. Yeah, it's great to be here with everyone. I'm going for refuge groups downstairs. I can hear them. I heard them cheering, so that's good. So I wanted to talk about, just coming along to the LBC, which is my main context, and then how I got to be here. So I think, firstly, the main thing that I was given by the LBC was opportunity. It was really easy for me to come into the doors of the LBC and be given stuff to do or have opportunities to be there, to go on retreat, to be in classes with people who are the same age or are running sub-25 classes then. So being at classes with people who were under 25, just like me, there was this huge big under 25 challenge where there was meditation every morning and meditation reviews. I did meditation reviews with Surinaga, and that was a real opportunity for people my age to come into the centre and meet regularly and do things like have meditation reviews. In fact, Surinaga we then met up, became friends. He invited me into for dinner at the community. And I think that leads me on to, what I want to say about just things being visible and being able to see the next step, or being able to see what I could do with a Dharma life, with a life involved with the True Ratna Buddhist order and movement. That I feel like everywhere I looked, if I wanted to, there was somewhere to engage. So coming into a community like the one I live in now, I've been here just over 3 years, living here. I within a year of coming to the LBC, I was a mitra. I had asked for ordination. I was working full time at the London Buddhist Centre, and in a way that is because, I suppose that is because of me, but that's also because of the opportunities that were there. Like it was just possible and easy for that to happen for me. So yeah, with guys going off to get ordained, I worked part-time in the office for a little bit of time in the office and then stayed on. And that was so formative. It was so formative for me to be able to just step into situations. Like after my first retreat, my first sub-25 retreat, one of the leaders just said, "Oh, do you want to join the team for this project?" And I was then on the team for that project. And yes, I feel like things were facilitated really easily for me, for my enthusiasm, for my inspiration to just be accepted and like encouraged. And there were events and things on that just really allowed that, really allowed that to grow. I think as well, like what Emily mentioned about just seeing people who are doing it in front of you. I guess Samantha Vajra, who might be here, he organised the first long retreat that I was on, and he's a pretty young guy, and I saw him. He then got ordained the following year, and I thought, he's organising this huge big retreat at Adhisthana. He's getting ordained the next year. I can do that. I'm very inspired by people like Maitreya Bandhu, who's going to ordain me next year, and you know, I need people to relate to closer to me. I need to be able to see people who are getting ordained. Some of my friends, Maitri Kumara, who was leading the sub-25 group when I got involved, he was then ordained the following year after I came along. And so there was a sort of sequential people to relate to, people to see, right up from peer friends who I met on the first day and it was their first day, right to public preceptors who I live with now. And that's been so important. That's been really important. I think another thing for me is like the ability to make those decisions and make those commitments. As a 19-year-old who hated their uni degree, it was absolutely no skin off my nose to drop out of my degree that I hated to come and work at the London Buddhist Centre. It was just such a more attractive opportunity. I didn't have any financial commitments or familial commitments, or I didn't need to pay a mortgage or anything. I actually really could give myself to a situation that maybe when you're in your late 20s and you have a long-term partner who wants to settle down and do things like that you might want to wait to do that. In my late teens, it was just really possible. And I think, something like other people in their late teens, that's you sort of want to be able to encourage people to make those decisions before they make, before people make sort of larger life commitments that might restrict their capacity to take on responsibility and do things like live in a community, which have been so vital. For my sort of ordination training process, but also just like the way I live my Dharma life and the way that I engage with the movement. And then also, I think for me personally, I've always been socialized with older people. So there's loads of people. There's like Emily said, and like Phoebe said, there's loads of young people around the LBC, and that's one of the great things about it, is that it's really easy to step into. And it's not always the case. Maitreya Bandhu was just talking about the Journey in the Guide course, which it's been going really well, and I'm organising that course. It's fantastic, and it's noticeably older than it has been in previous years. And for me, personally, that isn't a problem because I've been like my dad's in his late 70s, so I've always been socialised with people who are older than me. But so I think for a lot of people who are maybe the age that I was when I first came along, it'll just be really hard to go on a retreat, especially on an ordination training retreat, if everyone who is there, it might be double their age. And that is just going to be a significant barrier, I think, for a lot of people. And I'm going to wrap up in a minute, but it's just been so amazing for me to be in the situation that I'm in. But yeah, it's definitely not perfect. Like, we had this fantastic event this morning with Subhuti, who was doing an event for men's for the men mitras at the centre, and I was still the youngest person there. So I've been coming to the centre for 4.5 years, and I was the youngest person when I started, and I'm still the youngest person there today. So that felt like a bit of a shame, and it's definitely something that can change. Yeah, so thanks. I think I'll leave it there.
Oh, thank you so very, very much, Patrick. And yeah, really for really showing us how being given responsibility has been so important for you. And I actually remember, because I think I was one of the people asking you to do all these things, like saying, oh, you know, the head cook for this retreat of 100 people has gone down with COVID. Can you be the head cook? And you just say, Patrick, oh yeah, I'll give it a go. You know, oh, the speaker's got sick as well. Can you give the talk as well? Oh yeah, I'll give it a go. You know, and yeah, I'm just really delighted to hear from you, and well, also to hear that sober note at the end as well. I think that's very important for us to reflect on. And yeah, really, really wish you well for going off on your ordination course. So that was, yeah, very, very thought-provoking. I'm hearing from those first 4 speakers. We've got more for you after tea. So what we've got now is a tea break. So what I'm going to suggest you do is go and grab a cup of tea really quickly and have a little comfort break if you want. But then come back, because during the tea break, Phoebe is who's at the new T Ratanaloka, that hasn't even opened yet. So Phoebe is going to give us a virtual tour of the new T Ratanaloka. And of course, what we're very much hoping with the new T Ratanaloka is it's going to be able to respond to some of these issues that these younger people have been telling us about. So yeah, off you go for tea, and come back soon.
We don't get to go for tea, do we, Vegetarian?
No, we don't get to go for tea. We just chat if you're hanging around a little bit.
We're like the ad break.
But it was great listening to all those stories. And actually, for Vajrashir and I, it sort of rings bells for us, because we were both ordained. Well, we both joined the movement when we were young, and we were ordained when we were young. So how old were you when you started coming along?
I was 22 when I first learned to meditate, and I resisted Buddhism for a couple of years, and then I discovered I was a Buddhist, and I then threw myself in really quickly and asked for ordination. And then after asking for ordination, I thought, oh, I should be a mitra as well, and started working in the Buddhist center around then, and I got ordained at the age of 30. So the day after my 30th birthday, I think I flew to Kuhiloka to be ordained. And you?
I was 17 when I got involved, still at school.
Yeah.
And in South London. I went to Leeds University, and then I was ordained from Sheffield actually when I was 26. And we got to know each other and became friends shortly after we were ordained.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, because we met. We were on one of the very first young Buddhist steering groups, if not the first Buddhist steering group.
Yeah.
The very start, near the very start, but you were at the very start, weren't you? I think.
Yeah, I think. Yeah. I don't think you were.
I joined a little later. Yeah, about 6 months or a year later. Yeah, the very start of the Young Buddhist Initiative that's been going on since then. So that would have been about 2008 or 9, I think.
Yeah. And we got to know each other as 2 young order members, and then we became friends. Yeah. We're still friends.
Yes.
And then we ended up in the college together.
Yes, I had a glorious 6 months of being the youngest college member, and then Vajratara came along and stole my thunder because she's a little younger than me.
We just worked it out. I'm 11 months.
11 months. Yeah.
But we're both still the youngest college members. We're both wow.
We are. Yeah.
So I'm 47.
I'm 48. Yes.
Yeah. But that's 2 people with a life of joining the order when we were young, being immersed in the institutions of the order. Institution sometimes gets a bad word, but it can also mean all the wonderful opportunities that we've had. Like I worked in the Evolution Shop, I was Mitra Convener in Sheffield, and then I joined the ordination team 15 years ago.
Yeah, for me, I've loved working in the institutions. I've been the centre manager, well, administrator, centre manager, metric convener, and the college member, now private preceptor, public preceptor. It's always been a really wonderful. Every step has been a really, really happy one, actually, for me.
Yeah. And have you ever regretted getting ordained young?
I've never regretted getting ordained. No, I've never regretted ordination. I'm 18 years in the order now, and it's the best thing I've done with my life.
Yeah.
And you?
Me too. I've lived the most wonderful life. I often think that even if I died now, I'd know that I've lived the best life that I could possibly live, and I've had the most wonderful training. That I remember when I first joined the movement. I was all over the place.
Yeah.
I like to think I'm more integrated now.
I did not know one part of my body from the other, to be polite. Yes. And it really helped me sort myself out.
It really helped me sort myself out, and more. I've discovered a whole world of I don't know, a whole vision of possibilities that's so much beyond I ever imagined when I was younger. And things just keep on opening up. Like the process is limitless. And I'm so glad that I've had such a long time to have that opportunity.
Yeah. The other thing that just struck me earlier, I remember we were leading a retreat actually that Phoebe was on, one of the retreats.
Oh yeah, at Astani.
And I have to say, some of those young Buddhist retreats we've led have been the best retreats I've ever been on. At times I found the I don't know if I should be saying this, but the stillness in the shrine was probably better than many order retreats I've been on, I have to say. Yeah, it was really, really good.
Oh, it was a magical time. I remember the one that Phoebe was on. It was the garden was really beautiful here,
Yes,
and
that's right, yeah.
I did feel in a slightly altered state of consciousness the whole time.
Yes.
I'd spent a lot of time looking at flowers meaningfully.
Yes. Actually, could we go to gallery view, Max, just to see everyone as well?
Yeah. See who's having their cup of tea and who's come back. Sudarshan and Loka community is all vacated and the door is open.
Oh, they're there.
They're there. Oh, ahead.
Yeah, they've probably got all their spring flowers coming up now.
But yes, I am. It's part of encouraging young people to join the movement and the order is just because one can. There's such a lot of opportunity, and you get a longer run-in of spiritual practice and transformation.
Yeah, and like some of the speakers said, it's just really great to be given responsibility, actually.
Yeah. Oh, and I've definitely grown through responsibility. And at every stage I've had opportunities. I feel very lucky. I remember when I was younger and I went to T. Ratnaloka and I said, someone said, well, what do you want to do with your life? And I said, I want to be a Dharma teacher. And they said, great, join a community, work in a right livelihood. And I immediately got a place in a community in Sheffield and worked in the evolution shop. And I really think that was the making of me.
Yeah. And I moved into a pretty rough and ready community in Dublin not long after getting involved. And it's great. You fall out with people, you make up, you learn, you get the corners knocked off you. It's great. Yeah. I wonder, are we ready? Do you think it's time for the...
We're giving time basically for Phoebe to get over to the main building in Ware. Which is in Ware?
I want to be the first person allowed to make that joke.
So our new team is in Ware in Hertfordshire. And so there's two little kind of guest houses where everyone's, the people who are living there are living at the moment. And she is making her way over to the main retreat centre.
I'm curious about two things. Well, I'm curious to see the whole new place. I'm curious to make sure to see if they have Wi-Fi throughout, and I want to see the ghost of an old dead nun.
Okay, Phoebe, there you are. And the first question for you is: have you seen any ghosts?
I've not yet. No.
I don't think there are any. Actually, it's a very, very good atmosphere there.
The happy ghosts.
So, where are you now?
I'll just flip my camera now. Oh, 1 second. Pranagita showered me.
Your coat. Pranagita's with Phoebe. Phoebe's wearing the most wonderful coat. I have to say, you look so glamorous.
Hey, Pranagita.
Thank you. So Pranagita's over here. So this is the entrance.
You could take us off, I think, just to make it. We are not the stars here.
Wow, so there we are, walking into a Carmelite monastery. Yeah, so if you don't know, it was a Carmelite nunnery for Carmelite nuns, and they were very pleased to sell it to us. Yeah.
Shall I show the study rooms first?
Oh yeah, and
the nuns have been listening to all your Dharma talks, haven't they?
well, Sister Patricia did say yes, you'd found me online. So these are the corridors, and there'll be study rooms off those corridors, and this is the so there's a little room which will be a study room. You can see that there's a kind of, the plank in the middle is because the Carmelite nuns were behind a curtain. You weren't allowed to talk to them face to face.
Oh, wow. Will you be doing that for the ordination too?
Yeah, we're going to carry on that tradition. There we go. This is the vestry, so this will be the shrine room cupboard.
Oh, wow. And will you be keeping the baptismal font? Is that a font there?
Maybe it's
Holy
holy water.
Holy water font, yeah.
Only for you, Vajrashura.
Okay, good.
All the ex-Catholics.
Yeah, absolutely.
So I have to say that I really love that floor.
Wow.
We're all really pleased with the parquet floor.
Are we coming into the shrine room now, is it?
Yeah, so this is the shrine room complex bit.
Wow.
So this will be the kind of antechamber.
Wow. What do you use that room for? Or will you knock a wall or something?
No, we're not going to knock. The plan is so far to put things up. Oh, look, this is the main shrine room.
That's great.
So now the main shrine room, just to say, is a little bit odd because it's the Carmelites and they weren't allowed to be seen by the general public. They had this bit of the chapel, and then the congregation would come round the corner.
Ah.
And so we're going to have, we're working out how to use the space well and how to have that shrine in the middle.
Mm.
As you can see, that's where the altar was.
Oh, that's what the markings are. Okay. Wow.
So no one falls down a hole.
Oh. It's not like a trapdoor that you can spring out of or anything.
Yeah, well, maybe. On someone's ordination.
Wow, that's great. How many people can you fit in the room?
So we have worked it out. I've forgotten the exact figures. Pranagita might be able to remember, but I think it's about 50 in this side, and
something close to that. Yeah, 30 or 40. Yeah.
Yeah, the other side slightly.
Wow.
Do you want me to show you quickly the bottom floor of the house?
Yeah, that would be great if you could show us the sort of main corridor, and also everyone loves this corridor.
It's so cool.
It's so cool.
How far can you slide on it? Have you tried that yet?
And the sock slide? No, yeah. I didn't ask the nuns either.
That would be interesting.
But either side, so to the right-hand side, you can't see it now because it's dark, is the nuns' graveyard.
The nuns might have little marks on the floor where the record is.
What do you mean?
For the slide.
For the record, yeah. We'll look out for them. Show us the library to the right. Yes, that's...
Oh, wow.
So I'm particularly excited about this library.
You'll be setting up camp in here at Vajratara.
Yeah, and those boxes are Kamala Sheila's books that he's donated to us.
That's lovely.
Or Yashabodhi's donated to us on his behalf.
They have all these little footnotes and written notes.
Yeah, exactly.
Wow.
There's a lot of books as well. They're all Kamala Sheila's. Oh, you're doing so well, Phoebe.
That's great, Phoebe, yeah.
Now, this is the main bit of the retreat centre house. This is the lounge.
Wow. This is where you'll be giving your Dharma talks?
Yeah, I guess we will actually, but it's also be where we'll be hanging out.
Yeah.
And possibly dancing. It's got a sprung floor, apparently.
Oh, wow.
I don't actually know what that means.
So you could do your talks through interpretive dance.
Yeah. The Nidana chain.
Yeah. Phoebe, you probably can't see it, but there's a lot of love coming in, a lot of really lovely comments as well.
They're still working on the electricity, so it's a bit darker down here.
Oh, this is where you see the ghosts.
Yeah, exactly. That is Pranagita, everyone. It's not
we should
really...
have planned Pranagita to put a sheet over her and come out at some point.
Yeah, it's interesting. It's got such a good atmosphere, that place. It's so many years of dedicated spiritual practice.
Yeah. Really metaphor nuns, I bet, yeah.
And this will be a dining room. We're going to have two dining rooms, in fact. But you can see it's lovely sort of space with a lot of wood, and original wood as well. It's It's the original. I think it was built in around the 1930s.
Wow. So it's not just your IKEA clip-in.
No, it's
by any
definitely not.
means. Yeah.
And they've left us quite a lot of their furniture as well.
Oh, that's great.
Which is really kind of them, the nuns. They're very pleased, even though they're a reclusive order, they were very pleased to meet us.
Have you jumped into those bins and pushed each other around?
That's yeah, we can push them down the corridor.
Yeah. Like bowling.
There's a big staircase here. You can't see it sadly because it's dark.
No, we can't
but
see it.
it's great.
Yeah, so there's all this kind of wooden part of the building. It's it's got a very, very warm and kind of comfortable atmosphere.
And am I right in remembering there's lovely views out into the garden there, but we can't see at the moment?
Yes, there's a big lawn, sort of square lawn, and then there's an orchard.
Here's the views out, I remember, yeah.
Yeah, so to the left there is the graveyard, and to the right is this big lawn. I'm not sure how much you can see that. Big lawn and and an orchard. We've got an orchard.
Oh, wow, great.
About 50 apple trees.
Oh, wow. So it'd be challenging Adishtana for lovely apples.
Yeah.
We're all eating the Adishtana apples here at the moment.
Yeah, we could start a right livelihood of juicing apples.
Great. Apple juice, obviously, not cider.
Cider vinegar.
Cider vinegar,
That's
great.
the new thing
Very
with the
popular.
mother.
Yeah. The Mother Superior.
The Mother Superior. And this is the lobby. So this is where people will come in and be welcomed.
That's great.
It's a kind of newer addition to the building.
Okay.
But it's a nice little space, that.
I think we need to wrap up shortly in a minute, maybe.
So, yeah, we're going to start again. Thanks so much, Phoebe, for showing us around. And I'm so glad that that your phone kept its signal, because there's no Wi-Fi over there. But it just really, really gives people a glimpse. And we're so excited about the new T-Rat Naloka. And Karen Adi is going to be talking. Karen Adi, who's the chair of T-Rat Naloka.
And is in the old T-Rat Naloka. Yeah.
And is in the old T-Rat Naloka. She'll be saying a little bit more about this project, because I think, it's really interesting hearing Emily's experience. And of course, it's so important that when people come on their going for refuge retreats, that they meet other people who are of a similar age or lifestyle, similar background, so they know it's possible, and also to make friends with people. That's, I think, why it was so important for me to get to know you and other young order members on that young people's events, because there weren't many young people in the order at that time.
No. Okay, back to the main shriner, back to Maitra Bandhu and Subhadramati.
Good. Hello there. Hello. Thanks very much, both of you. And thanks very much, Phoebe, for taking us round in that lovely coat. Really nice. Thanks very much, Phoebe. And really lovely to get a view of the new T-Rat Naloka. It looks beautiful, really beautiful. So thank you very, very much. So just to let you know, before we move into our second half, all of this will go, we'll as soon as we finish this evening, we're going to put this straight up on YouTube. So you can send your friends to YouTube to look at it. Do share it with everyone. I want as many people to see this as possible. Already here in the room here at Adishtana with the college, there's been quite a lot of shock at the figures. We're talking about 4% of people worldwide who have asked for ordination are under 30. And for me, one of the concerns is what you want is your peers need to be around the same age. It's fine having teachers who are much older, like Subhadramati and I. We were actually friends. We were
very young once.
We were young once as well. It's great. It's fine. Not just fine. It's great having teachers who are much older, but you need peers who are the same age. So that's really quite concerning. So if you have a look on the YouTube link, you'll be able to see all those lovely diagrams that Surya did. Also, if you join our college mail out, we'll be sending you the link to all this straight after this. Also, quite a few of you have been making comments in the chat. That's been great. We are tracking those comments, and we will look at them afterwards. So don't think that they're just sort of disappearing in the void. Yeah, but really, really good to look around the new T-Rat Naloka. And now I'm going to hand over to Subhadramati again, who's going to do your marvellous thing. Which is what?
Say hello to people.
Good.
And so I'm going to be saying hello to 4 more speakers. 4 plus 1. So very, very interesting. Patrick and some of the other 4 speakers that we heard already were saying how important it was to be, well, given things to do when they first came along, being given responsibility. And I was really rejoicing in them for taking up that responsibility. So now what we're going to do is hear from 4 people who really have taken a lot of responsibility at a relatively young age. So we're going to hear from 4 different chairs of centres who came along when they were quite young, got ordained when they were quite young, and then became chairs of centres at a relatively young age. And again, just hearing about what their experiences, what's helped them, what the challenges have been. So the first person we're going to meet is Sadai Sihi. So,
hello.
Hi, Sadai Sihi. Lovely to see you. And
Hi.
I see you've got your whole community, by whole community, the other 2 in your community, watching with you here tonight, because it's actually community night, isn't it?
That's right. That's right. I had roped them in before I knew that I would be doing something. So
Oh, yes,
yeah.
you just agreed to come at the very last minute. So that's is great, Sadai Sihi. So where are you talking to us from?
I'm in Dublin.
Dublin, in your community. And actually, what age were you when you first came along?
I was 24.
You were 24. And what age were you when you became chair?
I was 39, so not so young.
Okay. Well, still young. You still count as youngish. So yeah, let's hear about your experience of being chair.
Okay, yeah. So yeah, I guess first, well, how did I end up becoming the chair? Because I'll have to say that it was never an ambition of mine to become chair. I think maybe I thought one day I might work at the centre, but certainly had no desire to be the chair, which in my mind was probably the head of the complaints department, which I've said to other people before. But a couple of years ago, before I became the chair, Yanadara had sounded me out. I probably was mid-30s. And I just started working for the Buddhist Centre online, and he sounded me out if, I can't quite remember how he phrased it, but something like, would I not rule out becoming the chair at one point? And I remember the conversation distinctly because I just thought we were having a nice catch up. And when he said that to me, I just burst out laughing because I thought that was, I thought he was joking actually. So I had a couple of years though to kind of drop that into my consciousness, and eventually, yeah, decided that I would step in. And there was a couple of reasons actually for doing that. Maybe firstly, it was because of my ordination vows. At ordination, I took on the practice of the 1000 Armed Avalokiteshvara, and I could really see that becoming the chair was probably one of the most effective ways, at least I could see, of really honouring that desire to help alleviate suffering. So that was a really strong pull for me. But also I could see that there was a real need, and there didn't seem to be other people that were either able to or willing to step in. So that was also another important thing for me, was just a sense there was a real need. Otherwise I would have been quite happy for someone else to do it. As I said, I didn't have an ambition to do it. But yeah, so I guess maybe in the context of all of that though as well, I guess there's a couple of things to say along the way. In my ordination process, there were a couple of things that sort of led up to that as well, probably getting a taste of responsibility before that. So I was also involved with 2 others in Dublin in the Young Buddhist group that we had. It was called a Young Buddhist group then. I think it's now goes by age. And I got involved in that, again, probably a little bit reluctantly. I actually didn't really want to be involved in the Young Buddhist group. I kind of hated the idea of being categorized as a young Buddhist. But again, I really saw that there was a need. I enjoyed doing it. I did it with 2 friends, Prasanna Deva, well, he's now Prasanna Deva, and Casey at the time. And it really just, I suppose for me, I got a real taste of stepping up and being able to communicate the Dharma. And that really stood to me, actually, I think, later on. And another thing, I suppose, also was being involved in setting up a community, which I I did with Pranagita and another friend as well along the way. So I think both of those things were probably in the mix of becoming the chair, kind of getting that sense of being involved with things, being active, and seeing how what one does in one's life makes a real difference. But there are a couple of other things, I suppose, that have helped me along the way. And I guess I'd just like to say exemplification from other people. So right from the beginning, seeing other people, I mean, I think other people have mentioned this. I didn't particularly I think in Dublin, maybe the Sangha isn't such an older Sangha. There's quite a good mix. But I didn't really have an issue with wanting to just be with people my own age. But what I really did impact me was just seeing people really living a life based on their ideals, which I really did see really wholeheartedly, actually, with the centre team at the time, all of them just giving so fully, and other order members too. And then also just with other friends, just seeing how fully they took their Dharma practice, how sincerely and really gave themselves to their Dharma practice. And in particular, a really close friend, a dear friend of mine, Pranagita, who thinks she's online, moving into a community with her had a really strong impact with me, particularly because the reason I got to move in with her was because she had, I mean, this is her story really, but it just kind of really evoked something for me of, taking that responsibility in that kind of way, that she stayed in Dublin for the sake of for the women in Dublin, and I think so I'm just distracted now with that flashing up message. And I think there was something about that, just seeing someone really taking their practice seriously, that really kind of put it up to me as well, that like, if you really value something, you need to stand for it. So that's what I'll say about that. And then I know I'm supposed to say something about my vision, so maybe I can say that really, really super quickly. So as I said, I was involved in a young Buddhist group myself. We've had iterations of it since in Dublin, and the last iteration was kind of run by as kind of more of a seminar thing, and I think we're going to move back to getting younger people to run a group again. And I guess maybe just one other thing, like, I don't think there's a really easy answer for all of this. I really don't. But one thing I think, particularly having just recently done the chairs course, an online chairs course that I've been really reflecting on since, is just on Bante's life himself. And one of the things we talked about was how Bante really spoke to the issues that were happening at the time. And I think that's a really important thing that we need to be doing, is to really speaking to people's lived experience, whether that's through the polarization that's happening in the world, whether that's the conflicts that are happening around the world, the social issues, really speaking to that, but really strongly offering a Dharmic perspective on all of those things, because that really interests me. And I think it's what people are actually looking for. They're looking for a meaning that's embedded in the world, and a way of seeing how the Dharma can really transform and offer something very different to other groups that are out there. So maybe I'll leave it there.
Thank you very, very much, Sadasi. He's very, 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 very inspiring talk you've given us, especially just sharing that your own vision of a life lived motivated by your ideals, and also how becoming chair was a very profound activation of your ordination vows and your dedication to Avalokiteshvara. So thank you very, very much indeed. Okay, so the next person I'm delighted to introduce you to is Karuna D. So let's see Karuna D. Here she is. Hello, Karuna D.
Hi.
Where are you? I know where you are, but tell us.
I'm currently in the old Tivatnaloka. I'm here actually with half of an online retreat. We've got people in the shrine room with me who've been on the retreat and the support team. So I'm currently in Wales.
Yeah, you're currently in Wales. And of course, when you say the old Tivatnaloka, it's sort of the current Tivatnaloka and the new Tivatnaloka.
It is.
Because, well, Carandy, here you are, you're the chair of the current Tivatnaloka, you're the chair of this new project. We've got well over 1,000 women on our database, and yeah, here you are as the chair. So you must have come along to Triratna when you were, what age were you again when you first?
I was 24.
You were 24. And what age, when did you become chair?
About 3 years ago. I'm 45.
Okay.
Just worked it out.
Okay.
Not young.
So okay, yeah, well, I think you can still be in the youngish bracket for taking responsibility. So why don't you tell us about your inspiration and what's keeping you going through these two massive projects? So over to you, Karunadi.
Yeah, thanks very much, Padmati. I was thinking what I would say, and I don't think I might. I hope to be able to express just how important this project is to me. Actually, how important Tivatnaloka is, currently here in Wales and also in Ware. And when I was thinking, how can I express that? The image came to mind. So about a month ago, we had a young women's retreat here. And Vajratara was leading a seminar-style weekend, and it was on Milarepa and one of his female disciples, Salio. And in that, Salio sort of resists the teacher, Milarepa, and then she has this prophetic dream where in the dream she sees that she has both the sun and the moon inside her. And there's a sun and the moon outside, but actually it's the outside sun and the moon that ignites the inner sun and moon. And I think that's actually what ordination gave me. I think actually that's what Ratnadharani, my preceptor, gave me in particular. So it's almost like I had this potential within me, and I couldn't fully activate it. And it was her going for refuge that activated mine, and somehow there was some great synergy in that, some magic that came together. Yeah, so I think this is why this project is really important to me, because I want to offer that to others. I don't quite know what my life would have been like if I hadn't been taken on quite in that way at the age of 24. And when I was meditating this morning, so we were on this online retreat, this sense of that if we don't really live from our deepest values, if we don't live from them, if they're not activated, then it's a very, very impoverished life. And we need conditions for that to happen. So for me, Tivatnaloka was a very, very significant condition. And the women that lived and worked here were sort of integral to my mandala, along with the Colchester Buddhist Centre, of really being able to kind of activate myself. Yeah. And I was also, some of you might know that our 2026 programme went out. So it went out about in July. And within 50 minutes, all the retreats were booked, actually. Someone described it as Glastonbury tickets. And I know that some people were online trying to get a place, and they didn't manage to get a place because they weren't quick enough. It just went, the retreat spaces just went as fast as that. Why I feel passionate about this project, as well as the team feel that as well, was that in my ordination process, when I came along, I didn't have to plan a year and a half ahead what I might feel like doing, what retreat I might feel like doing, or what was really alive for me. That wasn't the case. And to be honest with you, I wasn't together enough to be able to book a retreat a year and a half, or, you know, to do that kind of planning. So I was really lucky that I didn't have to do that, and I was able to come on retreat here twice a year, even some weekends. So I asked in 2004, and I got my letter in 2008, and I wasn't actually living and working in a team-based right livelihood, but I was just deeply activated by, just really ignited by what I received here and in my local context. So I really want to be able to, for others to have that opportunity. And I've been here now for 10 years, living at Tivatanaloka, and for the last 9 years, I've been both on the ordination team, and I've also been part of the bookings situation. This year I didn't have to do it because we had a support team that I'll touch on. So it has been quite a painful sort of process, I think, of writing to people when they actually book on 2 retreats and saying, hey, can you just choose one, because we're not opening second bookings until January, say 2026. It's just so that if people ask for ordination, they are able to come on retreat and not have to wait nearly 2 years, because then the next year's booked up. And then, so it feels like a really urgent situation to be in, actually. So I'm really pleased. I can't tell you, we found this place. It's like a needle in a haystack. So much has needed to come together. And it was great to see Phoebe and actually Pranagita in the background. There's magic there. There's a history or practice. I can't actually believe we've managed to find such a place. But what else I wanted to say, I just wanted to kind of come back to that retreat, that young women's retreat. On that retreat, I was really struck that over half of the folks on that retreat were really struggling. We're struggling with anxiety, with some mental health areas that they were really working on: anxiety, post-traumatic stress, and actually, obviously, they'd also found the Dharma, so that was fantastic. But I just thought, gosh, there's so much more we can do. There's so many people. There's suffering in the world, isn't it? And we really have something to offer. And Tivatanaloka becoming unlimited, I think, is I'm hoping is quite a crucial aspect to that. So Emily, I was really moved by what you said. We've already trying in our current context to reserve a few places for young women so that they're not in that, they're not quite in that boat. So you have got peers who you're journeying alongside that share life experiences in the midst of, of the wider Sangha, of also, obviously older women as well. And we're really hoping that the new Tivatanaloka really, what it will do, it will enable you to come with your friends, with order members. So Patrick was, being able to come as many times as you want to. And again, really just activate oneself in that way. Really deepen one's going for refuge. That feels really alive, really awaken our potential within us, have that opportunity to do that on deeper and deeper levels. So we've already starting this process, and clearly there's a lot more to do. Just looking at the figures, there really is a lot more to do, and we are aware of that. But we've also, really quickly, we've just started this process. We have a support team of 4 who are, pretty much under 40. And basically what we're hoping is this context will allow other people to come and join us and accelerate the process of women and younger women getting ordained. I think that's at the heart of it, being able to have periods of time living and working with us, with really experienced practitioners going in the one direction, even for short or long periods of time, I think will, really make a difference. So, thanks. Sorry about that. Slightly gone over.
I hope you could hear those whoops, Carnady, as well as the applause. And definitely speaking for myself, but I know not just from me, I'm not just applauding for this talk you've given us, but just applauding you, as someone with like the most vision out of anyone I know, who's running 2 massive projects simultaneously, doing the work of about 10 people, and doing it because of a vision and your devotion to Avalokiteshvara as well, that just wants to sees the urgency and wants to do something and do it now, and is giving your all to doing that. Yeah, so I just feel really, really proud to be part of that project with you. So thank you. So the next person I'm delighted to be introducing to you is Kshanti Kara. Hello, I don't know why this
Hello.
is your name.
Kshanti Sara is at the North London Buddhist Centre,
yes,
so it's a regular occurrence.
I know. Kshanti Kara. So you're at North London, and I remember you when you first came along, don't I? But I can't remember what age you were. You must have been quite young.
Yeah, I was 21.
21, yeah. And here you are, chair of the North London Buddhist Centre. So, yeah, really looking forward to hearing what you've got to say and share with us.
Thanks, Svajramati. Yeah, difficult going towards the end because I've got loads of new ideas. So I came along at 21. I was ordained when I was 26, and I became the chair in North London 31. And one thing I was thinking while people are talking is I've definitely got this label of being the young chair. Before that, I had the label of, I still have the label of being a young order member. I've been a young person for a while, but I am actually 33. I was just talking to some people I live with who are like, are you still young, are you? They're not Buddhists. So in their world, 33 is just a sort of normal age. So there's a bit of a vibe of being cursed to be young forever by deciding to join in Triratna so fully. And I also hadn't thought to mention this, but growing up alongside peers in Triratna has been crucial for me. So I'm thinking particularly of people like Dharmasara, who's speaking next, and to be able to share something of that has been crucial. What I particularly wanted to say was that I turned up at a meditation course at 21 because I was stressed, confused, worried about the meaning of life, divided by conflicting desires, and starved of community, which is a long way of saying I was in my early 20s. So like, it's difficult being in your early 20s, and that seems to be true throughout history. You've got to find out who you are. And I felt really blessed, and I feel I'm giving this talk because people a decade ago, like Vidyadhaka, Yanavacha, Maitra Bandhu, Devamitra, and others, took an interest in me. They reached out their hand to me. They were mature men, and I deliberately say mature rather than old because anyone can get old, but it takes practice to become mature. So to meet men sort of practicing the Dharma, engaging in friendship with one another, offering it to me was remarkable. What man in their early 20s doesn't want to encounter that? Incredible. Really struck by that bond of brotherhood, by the vision, by their sense of discipleship, their quest to build a Buddha land. And then I just kept meeting more and more people like that the more I got involved in Triratna. So fast forward a few years and I end up living in Sakavati. I end up working for the London Buddhist Centre. At some point, I'm asked by Yanavacha to help get a sub-25 group going. Had all these experiences to take responsibility and experience myself as someone helping to form Dharma contexts and being really engaged with Sangha. A few years later, I'm invited to join the order. I find myself on a 4-month retreat with Maitra Bandhu. And every evening, he's just like very open and upfront about how passionate he is about ordination. He tells stories about Bhante most evenings. He takes what we're doing very seriously, but there's also plenty of jokes. And then Vidyadhaka comes out and ordains me, a 26-year-old, giving me the name Kshanti Kara. Crikey. I remember calling my mum from the coast when I left the retreat. And she said, Vidyadhaka's found your true name. And I'm so happy that you found a life where there are men that can see you clearly and witness you, which is very different to what she said about me getting ordained beforehand. She was I gave you a name, you better bloody keep it. So that also shows you something of the sort of magic of what we're doing, sort of irresistible. Anyway, flash forward again, I'll try and say a bit more about sort of a vision for young people. So I ended up at Adhisthana, living at Adhisthana for a few years, 3 years after ordination. I'm the young Buddhist convener. I meet hundreds of people in their 20s and early 30s across Europe. There's still lots of elders around, Sadhanandi, Vajratara, Vajrashura, Subhadramati, all kind of offer me their ear, their energy. They kind of put faith in me. And as I visit all of these young Buddhist situations across Triratna, it's clear that not many of the young people are experiencing what I experienced. Local order members are often too busy to take a wholehearted interest in them. The young people are not given responsibilities anywhere near fast enough. They're not being invited onto retreat teams to lead courses like I was. Often they're given a young Buddhist group to run, but it's often treated a bit like a fringe event. During one centre visit, I had to contend with some order members expressing their frustration that the young people didn't come to their Sangha night. And I had to sort of break the news that their Sangha night was about a quarter of the size of the young Buddhist night and pretty limp. And maybe they could like get some tips. So it's sort of like, how do you make the most of this energy and idealism and let it sort of infect the whole Buddhist centre culture? Towards the end of me being the Young Buddhist coordinator, I was asked by Ratnaprabha to consider putting myself forward to replace him as the chair of the North London Buddhist Centre, a place I hadn't really been to before. And I thought, oh, okay, that's the real deal. Yeah, it's easy to be the Young Buddhist coordinator going around giving top tips and saying impressive things, and everyone saying, thank you so much for coming, you're so great. I'm sure young people will come now. And I thought, okay, now this is an opportunity to actually get involved in the situation and work out how it actually works. And it's hard. It's hard working alongside people, keeping a vision alive, listening to people, but also trying to kind of get something going. It's hard being a chair, I would argue. Don't quite relate to it as the complaints department, but there can be something of that. I remember talking to Satya Jyoti at an ECA meeting, a chairs meeting. She was the chair of Sheffield at the time. And she said something like, I don't really, she was sort of perplexed why Triratna is having such an issue engaging younger people.
Eugene?
Oh, I can hear some people talking.
You're going? Oh, for
Someone's
fuck's
off.
sake.
Oh, there's some swearing. So anyway, I was talking to Satya Jyoti, who's the chair of Sheffield, and she said something like, she sort of was like a bit perplexed that people were finding it so difficult in Triratna to attract young people. I remember her saying, it's not really rocket science. Practice the Dharma as best as you can, believe in Bante's vision, share it wholeheartedly, and take people at the Buddhist Centre seriously. It reminds me of Subhuti saying that what people need is the Dharma, and you've got to give it to them neat like whiskey. I think that's quite true of younger practitioners. So I think this is an invitation not to get caught up in what people want. So don't think like, what do young people want? Because it'll be like sex, drugs, rock and roll, whatever the Guardian has just decided is the most important issue of our time. What people need is the Dharma, and they need it neat, and it needs to be radical and exciting. And we need to be really confident that we've got that to offer. We can fearlessly invite people into it. So you've got this issue of like attracts like. So we really need to prioritize people in their 20s. But of course, as we've learned, the average age of the order is 63. So we can't get younger, but we can make sure that we've got a high spiritual vitality. We can sort of like develop energy and virya and passion and faith. So if we increase our vitality, it will really help. And if we can also sort of make space for younger people that do want to take responsibility and not make it such a sort of difficulty, such a drag for them, really kind of open it up to them. So the last thing I wanted to say is there's this phrase, isn't there, about the old revolutionary is the true revolutionary. So I think that's basically what I'm trying to encourage, is for us to try and become old revolutionaries that are up for experiencing young revolutionaries. So people in their 20s will be energetic and intense and idealistic, maybe messy, perhaps naive. So how can we sort of open up to that, offer them something of our experience, but also let them sort of work it out for themselves? So the last thing I'll say, I've run out of time, but I just want to say, at the North London Buddhist Centre, I very rarely think about engaging younger people. And instead, I just try as much as I can to bring to life these gifts of a vision of human existence, a method of personal development, a nucleus of a new society, and a blueprint of a new world, and just offer that as intensely as possible. And people will come, young people, and everyone will come. I had to cut lots of things out, but that's what I'll say this time.
Hasn't he done well, Chantikara? And well, I think we'll all really remember that, like, give people the Dharma neat, like any age, give people the Dharma neat. And actually, I think in your talk, you gave it to us neat. So thank you very, very much. And so the last of our 4 chairs I'm going to introduce is your very good friend, Dharmasara. In fact, I think I conflated both your names earlier, but Dharmasara is going to come and speak to us now. Great to see you, Dharmasara. And
hello, everyone.
Hello, and you're in Berlin?
I'm in Berlin, yes, in my room.
In your room, in the community there?
Yes, yeah, in the men's community.
I visited that community, do you remember?
Oh, yeah. I remember that. You should come back when...
I will. I will. Yeah, well, very much looking forward to hearing what you're talking about being chair. You've been chair for how long?
Half a year.
Half a year.
Yeah,
so
very fresh.
A fresh new chair. So let's hear what you've got to say.
Good. Thank you very much, Subhadra. Hello, everyone. My name is Dharmasara. I'm from Berlin. A few numbers for you as well, like everyone else was saying. So I came along, I had to look that up. I came along to the Buddhist Center here in Berlin, actually, when I was 19. When I was 19 years old. I became a Mitra when I was 21, also asked for ordination at the same year, and then also got ordained when I was 24. So like Patrick, I was the youngest order member at the time when I got ordained. So that was quite exciting. I felt quite proud of myself at the time. I don't know for what, but maybe for the fact that I was sensible at a young age or something like that. I don't know. It's not really an achievement, I guess. And as I said, I have become chair of the Berlin Buddhist Center, of the Buddhistische Store, as we call it, half a year ago. But I think, well, I'm sort of repeating myself, repeating what everyone else has been saying. What I think led up to that point of me becoming chair was a series of opportunities that have been given to me. Yeah, I always felt like, from the very moment that I came to the Buddhist Center in Berlin, that I was always met with the enthusiasm that I brought. I was a very kind of enthusiastic young man, I guess, I hope. Quite idealistic, sometimes a bit rude as well, I've been told, because I was quite inspired. But I've always felt like I've been met with with opportunities, with people taking me seriously. So I've been very early on, even before I was a Mitra, weirdly, was invited to lead young Buddhist classes at the center. I was very early on invited to lead retreats, be part of retreats, be part of retreat teams, be part of course teams. I was made part of the sort of the Sangha night team in the center quite early on as well. Sometimes sort of slightly without asking me, because people just assumed I would say yes. They were just sort of telling me that I'm now part of this team, which I really liked. I thought that was a really good thing. And then, that kind of series just continued. So after I got ordained, I was offered a part-time job at the center. A couple of years later, I started working for the center full-time, becoming the center manager. And now, I took on this responsibility. I've only been doing it for half a year, so let's see how it goes. Whether young chairs are a good idea after all, we will see. But I have all hopes for myself. So generally, I think, just to summarize that, I think my experience has been very positive because there were people responding to me. Yeah, because there were friends, there were people taking an active interest in me, the local order members here in Berlin. but also people that I met abroad. I really have to highlight people like Maitreya Bandhu, Padma Vajra especially, but also people like Arya Bandhu Dhammapriya here in Berlin who've really went out of their way to make friends with me, to really support me in my Dharma journey. Yeah, so I think that's really one of those key elements, is to just befriend people. I think it's sometimes very easy to blame these sorts of things on institutions or on structures. I think they're important. We need to look at them. But the more I think about the issue of young people in Triratna, I think it always comes down to individual responsibility. I think every single person who's involved in the center needs to reach out to young people. We need to reach out to everyone. That's the whole point, and that includes young people. And I don't mean that in a kind of sort of artificial kind of way, in a kind of, I guess I have to talk to the young person out in the room. But in a sort of just meet them as you are kind of way. I was quite inspired by what Ruchira Siddhi was the name, I think, said, that they were just met as a normal person, just met as an ordinary person. I've also made the experience where people treated me as something special because I was young. Sort of freaked out slightly. They were like, he's young. That's not a good look. Yeah, it's not quite. You don't quite feel like you sort of fit in. It's sort of like, I'm not supposed to be here, or this is it's not where I belong. Luckily, that hasn't happened so often. But I do think really what we need to do is meet people at the door in a friendly, open way, and be interested and listen to them, because I think, young people do have a kind of, sometimes do feel a bit like when they come to our centers, they do feel like, they are not quite sure whether they're meant here or whether they're sort of supposed to be here. So I think you do need to treat young people, not as a sort of special section of society or something. I mean, young people is everyone, just who are not old yet. We were all young once, and young people won't be old in the future. So the more I think about young people, I think the less I think of them in terms of a special needs group. I think the metaphor is really wrong. I think we do need to, we have been talking a lot about special needs groups, which I guess is a good thing, maybe, I don't know, within Triratna. But I don't think young people are part of that. Young people exist across all those groups. There's young heterosexuals, young homosexuals, young trans people, young non-binary. They're everywhere. There's sort of everyone. So I don't think we can treat young people as a sort of special needs group where we think, okay, well, like Shantikara said, like, what do they need? I think the more I think about young people also in our center is, I don't think not having young people isn't the issue. I think it's a symptom. I think it's a symptom of other issues, of whether our classes are alive, of whether we are committed in our centers, whether we show energy, whether we show dynamism, whether we have harmony in our order teams, whether we exemplify something. So sometimes I wonder, are we talking about the right issues here? Is it really that we need to attract more younger people? I'm not quite sure if that's the case. What I've found in my experience now, over 10 years of being in young Buddhist groups, what works best is, like other people have said, I'm repeating what other people have said, is to just very genuinely show what we stand for. Yeah, very genuinely show what we stand for, which is Bhante's presentation of the Dharma, yeah, and the life that follows from that. And it also means showing that we are committed and what a committed life actually looks like. Because I think that, again, as Shantikara said, these are the gifts we've gotten from Bhante, and this is what we need to continue onwards. Especially, I think it is good to highlight all those teachings from Bhante that we might shy away from in a newcomers class. Recently, I've been sort of trying out to sort of really highlight our USPs a bit more, like our unique selling point as Triratna. Our unique selling point isn't mindfulness anymore. It might have been in the 70s, but it isn't anymore. You can learn mindfulness wherever you are. Our unique selling point is friendship, is a deep understanding of Buddhism, is a sort of life lived. So this is, I think, what we need to communicate. And then people, I mean, if you do that in a dynamic way, people will come. So I'm talking about teachings like the individual and the spiritual community, teachings like Nucleus of a New Society, Blueprint for a New World, etc., etc. So I think, so this is what I've seen work, not when you sort of think in a meeting of what will attract young people. What works is people boldly stating what they stand for, and then engaging in a lively, friendly way with those people who come to the door and giving them opportunities early on. And that's it from me. Thank you very much.
Thank you very, very much, Dharmasara. I feel quite electrified by what you were saying. Your vision and passion, and that is, what an amazing point to make, that not an issue, but a symptom. And it really follows on from what Shanti Kara was saying about giving the Dharma neat and strong. And very, very good. You've emphasized, and everyone has that. Well, if you are someone who's at a centre who can offer responsibility to, well, anyone. I mean, I remember I loved that when I came to the centre, being given something to do, like straight away, how engaging that is. And if you are someone like going along to a centre, if someone asks you to do anything, just say yes, just say yes, because that's what. Well, that's how we create a Sangha. A Sangha isn't something we join, it's something we create together. And I think these, just great. It's so exciting listening to all four of the chairs of centres who've spoken to us. And somebody else has popped up beside me, and this is Nyanadara, and he's a very good friend of mine, and he's our movement coordinator. And you've got some words to say to us?
Yeah, well, I've had the experience of the last, however long it's been, an hour and a bit, of every single thing I was going to say, somebody else said with great gusto and great conviction. So I don't really have a lot more to add. I suppose what I just wanted to make a few very obvious points, which is most of the people who will come to our movement, into our movement and join our order, will come through our centres. So all of us can have an impact, and we've heard what we need to do. We need to give people opportunities to take responsibility. We need to communicate the Dharma vividly. We need to share our lives with people and show them what a Dharma life looks like. And we need to befriend people. And I just think, I came along to the Wellington Buddhist Centre when I was 20, and there's an order member called Achala. He's an order member still. And he befriended me. He just took me seriously. And I remember actually at the time knowing that he was befriending me, or knowing that he was being friendly. And it was a little bit, it was a bit of an effort in a certain kind of a way. And at the same time, I still really appreciated it. And all of us can do that. Like any of the people in this Zoom room can do that, can befriend a person who's the same age as them or younger than them. And we can all have an impact. And if we do that, this is something that hasn't been said, I think. If we do that, we will gain so much from that. Because what happens, I think, when you encounter somebody who's new to the Dharma, the freshness and the magic of the Dharma is much more apparent to you as somebody who might have been practicing it for 5 years or 10 years or 20 years or 30 years or 40 years. So you recapture that spirit by being in contact with people who are very, very new, and so much more so with young people. So it reminds me of I just finished with the image from the Vimalakirti Nirdesha of the inexhaustible lamp. There's that beautiful thing that Vimalakirti says to the daughters of Mara, I think it is. What do we do when we go back to the realm of Mara? And he says, be an inexhaustible lamp. If you communicate the Dharma, the lamp will not be dimmed, it will glow brighter. And that's certainly the case, I think. So I just wanted to end on that note that we've got so much to give and also so much to gain if we give it, and then the whole thing will just gather momentum. We've already got an amazing momentum as a movement, and but I think everybody can do something about this. We don't have to wait for some institution to fix it. As Dharmasara just reminded us, we can all have an impact just by simply being friendly to somebody. So that's what I want to say. Thank you. And thank you all for speaking. It was so lovely to hear you. Really, really encouraging and inspiring. So thank you.
Thank you, Yanadora. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Thank you, Subhadra. Thank you, everyone, for joining us. We're going to finish now with Mohamati, the chair of the College Council. He's going to come and lead us in a call and response, transference of merit and self-surrender. We want all beings to be well. We want all beings to be happy. We want all beings to get ordained. So let's hand over to finish the event with Mohamati. And then after that, we're going to have this massive, you can all, after we've done that transfer of merit, you can all unmute, that's the word. And then we're going to have this big, massive goodbye. So we get a big goodbye after that, yeah? So let's hand over to Mohamati.
Thanks so much to Matra Bandhu and to all of you who have made this evening possible. So yes, for the alleviation of suffering for all, that's what we're doing this evening for. That's what Triratna stands for, the alleviation of suffering of young people, middle-aged people, old people, all people, in fact, all living beings, and for peace in the world, and the most profound peace, which is the peace of enlightenment, the peace of nirvana. And that is what the transference of merit that most of us are familiar with from the final section of the Sevenfold Puja. So we're going to do that in call and response here in the college. And so good to have you all joining us for our college meeting. And I invite you to do that from home as well in call and response. The transference of merit and self-surrender. May the merit gained.
May the merit gained.
In my acting thus.
In my acting thus.
Go to the alleviation of the suffering of all beings.
Go to the alleviation of the suffering of all beings.
My personality throughout my existences.
My personality throughout my existences.
My possessions.
My possessions.
And my merit in all three ways.
And my merit in all three ways.
I give up without regard to myself.
I give up without regard to myself.
For the benefit of all beings.
For the benefit of all beings.
Just as the earth and other elements.
Just as the earth and other elements.
Are serviceable in many ways.
Are serviceable in many ways.
To the infinite number of beings.
To the infinite number of beings.
Inhabiting limitless space.
Inhabiting limitless space.
So may I become.
So may I become.
That which maintains all beings.
That which maintains all beings.
Situated throughout space.
Situated throughout space.
So long as all have not attained.
So long as all have not attained.
To peace.
To peace.
Good. See you later, everyone. We're going to crowd around. See you later.
Bye. 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 Bye.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye, Dharmasara. Bye.
You stay in the front.
See you later.
The last guy.
you.